Hello everyone and welcome back to another Disney Princess Legacy Challenge. This week we have, Cinderella just had her baby, little Generation 3 Tiana. You can see here I am sorting out a bedroom for her. Now I originally had that bed in a room for Tiana and sold it and now have it back again. And yeah, I really like this set from high school years, so I went with that. And as you can see in the bottom right hand corner, I just sorted everything by the color green. And so, green was the vibe. And I have this really cute mirror above with a little cute cactus on it, above the dresser. I considered getting a computer because we do have 2,000 simoleons here, and actually I do get her a computer, despite her still being a baby. I liked that lamp, but it was a bit too big. Now I'm curious to know if anyone else has done this challenge, the Disney Princess Legacy Challenge. What sorts of rooms and houses and things have you had for your Sims? Obviously I had a little cottage a la Snow White in the first generation. This is Cinderella's place, obviously she lived in a large house before, but then she lived in a castle, so yeah, I was like, I don't know where she lived afterwards. Of course she lived in a castle. She was married to Prince Charming. Speaking of, our Cinderella's Prince Charming asked her on a date, as this is part of her aspiration. We're sort of, hey, isn't that the guy from Eco Living? Wonder why he's a bartender on the side, I suppose. Working for, very passionate. Working to try and conserve the environment doesn't pay an awful lot. So, yeah, we have Brent and Cinderella on a date. They had a bit of a long date in the last one, so don't worry, I don't let this go on for super long. But yeah, Cinderella needs this for her aspiration, and Brent's aspiration is it's called Joke Star aspiration, where he has to get to like the top of the comedy career. Now, when I was editing these, I realized that usually in a legacy challenge, here's I'm playing the llama Jenga game. Usually in a legacy challenge, you're not allowed to. I love this game, it's so cute. I love the little animations with it. Yeah, usually when you play a legacy challenge, your sim doesn't have money, doesn't have a job to get money. At least this is my understanding from like when I did, oh gosh, in The Sims 2, I did so many legacy challenges. I guess I befriended the Grim Reaper. But yeah, I did so many legacy challenges. I did, regular 10 generation legacy challenge, like the first one. And I had a very strange dynamic where, oh hey, milestone complete and gold medal earned. Where my sim that married into the legacy family also fell in love with her father-in-law. It's a bit messy. And then I did it wasn't specifically a challenge, but there's someone on a broom. I went through 13 generations instead and had them all be different letters of the alphabet. So I had This one I really loved. I remember specifically my, hey, Tiana aged up. And we do have her as an infant in this one. But this is before I got growing together. So she doesn't have a little playmat. But I was going to say she will. No, I'm sure her descendants will. Yeah, my my second generation, married this guy called Dominique who wore, he had like long shoulder length curtains hair. He wore this like red like racer jacket. And I believe she proposed to him or he proposed to her. Remember in The Sims 2 when you could do a proposal at a table, like table engagement, I think it was. That was so, like, it's such a unique thing, you know, when you go to, it was downtown. Man, The Sims 2, the best. Yeah, when you go downtown, and yeah, I love this. Sakura apparently is here. Wants to be best friends. Gosh, remember them, that was a glitch. Tiana is trying all the foods. Oh, and here's, speaking of Knox from earlier, here he is to help us clean up some trash. But yeah, you could, came with downtown, you could propose engagement at the table. Like, to be fair, it was of the time where a lot of like the teen movies or the, you know, romance or, you know, those kinds of movies were, oh, he's proposing at the found this random toy outside, so, you know, Brent does the fatherly thing and brings it upstairs for his kid. But yeah, so I did the legacy challenge. So A had to find, you know, A was Gen 1 and they had to marry a B. And then C was Gen 2 and had to marry someone with the name D. And then E had to find F and so on and so on. Very difficult when I got to like the last couple of letters. Guess Vihan is visiting Cinderella or something. Yeah, and we have Brent here trying some food with Tiana, who seems to like it. And he's going to take her and put her to sleep in her little cot. But yeah, so have any of you done any sorts of challenges? I did a lot in The Sims 2. Like a lot. There was an insane asylum challenge that was probably sounds more fun than it was. Essentially you had to put your Sims in this room where there were not enough beds, or a home where there were not enough beds and there were not enough, like there was one toilet, there was no smoke alarm, like it was dangerous. And yeah, they had to complete a lifetime aspiration. Like there weren't enough chairs, there was only like 4 chairs for 8 of them, and they had to complete their lifetime aspiration before you could move them out, and you could only control one Sim every 24 hours or something, or maybe that was to do with the prison challenge. The prison challenge was also quite fun. Tiana likes mashed peas, but it's green like her, so of course she likes it. Yeah, I tried that one. 100 Baby Challenge, obviously a classic. But yeah, as you can see from, or may have seen in my past videos, I did the Not So Berry Legacy Challenge. I actually started that and finished this way before, like started and finished that. I started after I started this, and look at Tiana, she's so mucky, it's so cute. I started it after I started this, and then because I wasn't recording, I was just able to play it, and it wasn't. I find when I record, it's kind of laggy. And then, yeah, so I started in that, and then I finished that, and I'm only currently on Tiana's generation on this, but I finished that. But yeah, I've done that on this. I've seen lots of like different takes on the Legacy Challenge. Oh, look at Brent with Tiana. It's really cute because a big part of the Tiana story is that she has a good relationship with her dad in the actual film. She has a good relationship with her dad, and that's kind of why she gets into cooking. Obviously, her dad here is desperate for the toilet, and ill, it looks like. Yeah, so here he is a comedy star, but in the film he cooks and things, and that's why she wants to run her own restaurant. But here, yeah, for the challenge, for her generation, her dad is supposed to die before she reaches the age of a young adult, or before she ages into a young adult. I can't remember. Which, I was like, oh, kind of make the most of their time spent together, I guess, in the meantime. But yeah, because Brent isn't actually a chef, and also because, and this is tricky, Cinderella has to prepare all the meals because that's part of her generation. Because she has to do that. I have mostly Brent feeding Tiana, which is funny because Cinderella is feeding her at this moment. Yeah, and then I got a moodlet that Cinderella had lost someone, and then all of a sudden I see it's Vian, and I'm like, did he come over here right before he passed away because he knew it was going to happen? So, yeah, that was quite sad to see that. And again, we have Brent here feeding Tiana, and I think actually that her face is still mucky from last night, because that does not look freshly mucky. But interestingly, she didn't like the applesauce. That's not really a thing over here that we feed to people. We put it on the side with like pork. It is part of like a roast pork dish. At least that's kind of been what I've had growing up. We don't have like jars of applesauce that we feed to kids, or that we have as snacks or whatever. It's usually served pork. So the first time I ever saw somebody be like, oh, applesauce, and I was like, what? By itself? So, yeah. And again, we have Brent trying food with Tiana. I don't know, this was like right after Infants came out, I believe. And she still has a mucky face, how terrible. She's not sure about mango. But I know that now the kid has to complete the sit-up. Oh, how nice. And messy. She's experimenting with food, starting early. Oopsie, Cinderella is sad and missing work. Now apparently Patchy is eating with Brent and Cinderella. And now Grumpy is coming over. But yeah, I know that toddlers infants now have to complete sit-up before they can go into the high chair. I don't know if that was added, or if it's because I am incredibly lazy when it comes to infants nowadays. And I just buy the mat because they can play and they can sleep, and it's like quite low maintenance. especially when I'm doing like my 100 baby challenge. Yeah. So, end of the day, Cinderella is going to give Tiana one last oatmeal cereal. She really likes it. A new favorite. Yeah, infants were like always starving when you were trying them with new food. I don't know, maybe I should have been feeding her familiar food that she likes, and that, because she likes already, she'll eat the full thing. But I just found, oh, Cinderella looks so sad. I just found that Tiana was hungry all the time. Tiana wakes her in the morning. Brent just sleep through the whole thing. Very nice, Dad, very nice. And yeah, as I said, Tiana always seemed to be starving, so I had Cinderella feed her milk instead, so hopefully that'll feel, I was going to say feed her up and fill her up at the same time, so that'll fill her up. No, that's something different entirely. So it's Harvest Fest, and we have some angry gnomes, it looks like, but I've since found a photo that shows what all the gnomes should be given. I always remember that the rabbit one likes salad because it likes carrots and leaves and things. So I noticed that the parents were spending a bit too much time like separate from each other, and perhaps just with Tiana. So I let them have a little escape, and they're off to the bar. I'm playing a little bit of their favorite table foosball. Yeah, again, I don't bother too much with the details, but I thought this was interesting. They snuck off to the closet together. And I remember this happening before, and people would run and start clapping. Nobody seemed to care. I was like, oh, this guy's getting up to... Nope, he is just leaving. I'm not sure if they were making out or if they were actually woohooing. I'm sure there would be a lot more movement if they were woohooing, so maybe that's when people come up and look. Also, Doc appears to be at this bar, so yeah. Don't know. Cinderella always finds a sibling wherever she goes, apparently. She did have quite a lot of them. So, date is over. They head home. Brent is doing his usual and feeding his daughter. And I'm trying to move a gnome out of the way. Tiana's like, wow, what am I going to try next? She was unsure about sweet potato puree. Oh, it's so gross when they like spit out and smear all over the high chair. So, tried to get Cinderella to complete some more Harvest Fest traditions so that she wouldn't be sad about it the next day. So she made a whole turkey and had one plate for herself. So in the morning, Tiana gets breastfed again because apparently, trying foods doesn't fill her up enough. Cinderella has a nice little bath. I'm not sure where Brent is. Downstairs, apparently. And Cinderella here is making a cake because in order to age up an infant, she needs to have tried all of the foods, and that's probably why I wasn't bothering with feeding her familiar foods. I just was like, she's tried everything, so now she can age up. So Cinderella makes her a chocolate cake, and it's late because I was trying to wait until Brent was around, but he was never around. So Tiana ages up. I rolled, so you're supposed to randomly roll a number. I rolled for independent, and I thought that was perfect for Tiana. And now she's a toddler, so I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope to see you on the